Hey guys, this is Tim Anderson from Complete Writing Solutions, and today I wanted to give you guys a short little update about the Content Writing 101 project. For those of you who have been following along, back in April was when I first published the Content Writing 101 book, based upon several years of writing for content mills as part of my ongoing work, and based upon 4 million words of published content specifically through content mills. That does not include my private client work. The strategy that I've developed over the years is specifically related to content writing. For those of you who have read the book, you do understand that content writing for content mills is a completely different type of writing than writing for a magazine, or writing copy editing, or copywriting, or ghostwriting, or writing for private clients. Content writing for content mills is a specific beast. It's a completely different thing, and once you know how to work within the system, you can easily make $50 to $60 an hour or more with basically very little effort. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the short, focused bursts. This is something that it's talked about in the ebook 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss, I believe is his name, and it's also talked about in Stephen King's book on writing. Basically, it's the concept that if you take a 4-hour stretch of time and you work a short, focused burst within that 4-hour stretch, you are more productive in those 4 hours than you are if you work an 8 or 10-hour stretch. And the reason for that is simple, actually. It's just because your brain functions better when it's well rested. And when you have the ability to sit down and just focus for a short amount of time, you can produce at a higher level than you could if you stretch yourself out over a 10-hour period. With that in mind, the whole focus with the Content Writing 101 book is about writing on a per hour basis. It's all about the hourly wage. It's not about how many words per hour you're putting out. It's about how much money you can make per hour. And with content mills, that comes down to how many articles you can produce. Some people focus on the words per hour, but if you've read the ebook, you understand that it's all about time equals money. That's the basic equation. The only mathematics that you need to know is that time equals money. Words do not equal money, okay? Time equals money. So with this, the whole goal is to be as productive with your time as you possibly can. To give you guys an idea of what I mean by short, focused bursts, I'd like to show you guys my work folder. As you can see, this is going through all of the various clients that I have and different projects. But I want to go into my Demand Studios construction folder. And I wanted to show you guys what I mean by short, focused bursts. I'm going to look at yesterday. Today is November 12th, 2011. I did write a few articles this morning, but it is Saturday, so I'm taking the day easy today, and I'm going to go work on some other projects. But we'll look at yesterday, for example. I started at 8:47 in the morning. My first block of articles here, excuse me, let me highlight that a little bit better. My first block of 4 articles started at 8:47 in the morning and finished at 9:16 in the morning. I then took a break. I came back at 10:57, wrote another 4 articles, finished at 11:41 in the morning. Took another break, came back at 12:57, finished at 1:34. So here I have 3 different blocks where each block I sat down and wrote 4 articles well within an hour, making $60 an hour with Demand Studios in particular. We can go through here and we can look at today, for example. I started at 9:56 in the morning, and by 10:31 I had already written 4 articles. And we can go down throughout the list, pick any day that you want. I generally do 8 to 12 articles per day. Now some days, we'll go through here, for example on the 9th, I did not work on the 10th. But you can look at the 9th. For example, here I started at 7:30 in the morning, finished at 8:17 for my first block. My second block I started at 10:41, finished at 11:21. But then, if you look at my third block for the day, I have 2 articles that I did back to back within a quick, short little 20-30 minute period. But then I had a gap of, it looks like, an hour and a half before I finished my second 2 articles. These are times when, for example, someone might call me, or I might have a private client call me up on Skype and need to talk about a business proposition, or I might have a consultation scheduled. when I sit down to work, I generally try to do my content writing in 3 to 4 hour blocks per day, and I don't work any more on content mills other than those little 3 to 4 hour stretches. Most days I just do 3 short hours with Demand Studios, Text Provider, Pure Content, or one of my other content mills. Ironically, one of the things that a lot of people have asked me about, and it's true, most of my content mill work is actually from non-United States sources. I have several, for example, Text Provider is out of Germany, Pure Content is out of the United Kingdom. Demand Studios, I believe Demand Studios is one of my only United States clients. But that's beside the point. What I really wanted to focus with you guys on is the fact that when I sit down to write, I'm writing in short, focused bursts, 1 hour stretches. I work for an hour, I take a break. Come back, work for another hour, take a break. Come back, work for another hour, take a break. And by doing so, I'm able to maximize my productivity for the time that I sit in front of the computer. So often I am at the Demand Studios forums or other places in the internet where you see people talking about how they're sitting down. This is particularly notorious at Demand Studios forums, where you have groups of writers talking about how it takes them 10 or 12 hours to write 12 articles in a day. And the reason that that's taking them so long to do 10 or 12 articles, or excuse me, it's taking them 10 or 12 hours to do 10 or 12 articles is because they aren't working in short, focused bursts. Instead, they're dawdling, or they're taking too long of a time to research an article, or they're writing on topics about which they have absolutely no knowledge. One of the things that is common sense for making as much money per hour as possible is to stick to topics that you can write like the back of your hand. For example, I have no knowledge whatsoever about, for example, pulling teeth. I'm not a dentist. I never went to dental school. Therefore, for me, it would be ludicrous. It would be unintelligent of me to go out there and try to write articles on dentistry. I just don't have the knowledge, but I do have knowledge on other topics. So when I go to a content mill, I look specifically for my niches. This is common sense to some people, it's not for others. One of the things that's talked about in the ebook is finding niches of the moment, and while I won't go into that here, it is relevant in that no matter what content mill you're working for, when you find a niche of the moment that you can work on, it's very important to stick to that niche for as long as you can so that you can share the resources, use the same websites for references, use the same templates for your articles, and just basically rinse and repeat the content, putting a spin on it every time you write that article. Now, you're still writing original content, you're just changing it. That's all you're doing. It's no different than reading an encyclopedia entry on Greek mythology and choosing to write that article from a different angle and then taking your article and writing another article that's about the same topic as the first 2 articles, but you've changed it a little bit so that it's different in the third, and then you do that for the fourth, and you do that for the fifth, and you go on and so on and so forth throughout those articles. But the point is to work in short, focused bursts. This is described in books such as The 4-Hour Workweek or Stephen King's On Writing, as mentioned before. So if you'd like more information about that, I suggest Googling it and researching this, because it is a powerful tool in your ability to make as much money per hour when writing for content mills, because you want to be working in short, focused bursts, not dragging it out over a 10-hour stretch. Otherwise, you're taking far too long per article, you're not being productive, and at the end of the day, you feel drained. I never, ever, ever do more than 3 hours per day of content mill work, ever. I am never burnt out, I'm never bored, and I never find it tedious because I work short, focused bursts, make good money for my time, and at the end of the day, I can sit back and know that I made several $100s for the day between my content mill writing and my private client work without having to spend more than a few hours per day for my time. So hopefully you guys have found this inspirational, and I hope that you can take these tips and use them to start making more money per hour for your own content mill work. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time on the next episode for Complete Writing Solutions. Cheers.